explain to the assembled multitude. How late do we go? Till 8, right? I have to eat one for the day. Explain to us the notion of expectation. And I don't mean the novel, but who wrote Great Expectations? Charles Dickens. I don't mean Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. In statistics, what's the notion of expectation?
For continuous objective distribution, the rotation inflation of x multiplied the probability density function, and for the discrete.
Well, that's a fine technical definition, but my guess is that you came home with me, and my mother asked you to explain to her the notion of expectation. It's too far from the trouble. But if I took a moment and asked you to explain to my mother the notion of expectation, how smart she is, you said if the integral of x equals dx, that she wouldn't have a clue. And she even had calculus in high school. But she has been so long ago in college, but you need to give her intuitive explanation of expectation.
So I mean, I'll explain it as a weighted average for the formula.
Perfect. So Holmes says that expectation is a weighted average of, I'll let you generalize a little bit. Expectation is the weighted average of the function of the random variable that interests you. Because remember, we can write variance, we can write the mean as an expectation, we can write the variance as an expectation, we can write skewness as an expectation. And I think if you're going through old homeworks out there on the web, there was one homework that you brought to me that had magazines that the vendor, or books that the vendor was stocking, where the vendor could buy 1, 2, 3, or 4 magazines, and there was probability distribution over the number that people would try to buy. Wasn't that the problem that you guys came to? Okay, well, in the bad old days when I taught statistics to undergraduates, the problem that I gave them was that there's a newspaper vendor out on the street corner. And the newspaper vendor stocks the weekly magazine every Monday. They buy the magazines for the week. So they can stock 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They pay some amount of money for each one. And they sell them at another price, not what they pay for, something more, they mark it up. And if they have any unsold magazines at the end of the week, they can return them for part of what they paid for them. And then I ask my students, what's the optimal number of magazines to stock? Or what's the profit maximizing number of magazines to stock? So they need to figure out the expected profit that results from stocking no magazines, 1 magazine, 2 magazines, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth, and pick that stock number, which maximizes their expected profit. And I tell them what the probability is over 5. So that's an example of where, in effect, the news magazine vendor is figuring out his long-run profit. So expectation is the notion of a long-run average. So you may have heard in one walk of life or another about something called the root mean square error. So it's the average square error. So we are using expectation in the sense of long-run averages. Mohammed, what's the expected value of a constant? It's just a constant. What's the expected value of a constant times a random variable? That's the expected value. What's the what's the variance of a constant times the random variable.
Oh,
Variance or constant times the random variable.
it's constant square times y.
And what's the expected value of the linear combination of random variables? What's the expected value of x plus y? What was his answer?
Yeah.
He just told me that the expected value of the sum of random variables was the sum of the expected values. What happened to Pamela Merck? Anybody know her? She was sitting over there last week. What? Bailed on us? Todd. You're not yes, Todd. You looked up in total wonder. So that's, where's Todd? Two random variables are independent. Therefore, their covariance is equal to 0. The covariance between two random variables is 0. Therefore, they are incidentally, Timothy. Where's Tim? Tim, on the homework, the first homework assignment that you guys turned in, your little essay questions, about 5 questions. All you wrote at the top was Timothy. You put your last name on.
Oh, sorry about that.
What? You forgot your last name?
No,
Timothy. Well, just so you don't forget again. Mr. McNally. Where am I getting these questions? Okay. There's no mystery there. I'm just going through and asking questions to find out whether you read them. And so that if there are things that you're not sure about, we can stop and ask questions and discuss them. It doesn't make any sense for me to transcribe what you already have onto the board so you can transcribe it again. In the bad old days before the internet, I did a lot of that. All my lecture notes were handwritten, and so I would transcribe them on the blackboard, and students would usually copy them into their notes. But since you have access to the text in the notes, and I must acknowledge that there are lots of typographic errors because they were typed in the days when WordPerfect was the dominant word processor. People have ever even heard of WordPerfect. Well, quite a few. And then, of course, Microsoft and Word were in the ascendancy, so I had to take all those WordPerfect documents and convert them to Word. And at the time that I did it, Bill Gates assured us that his conversion routines were perfect, error-free. Well, when did anything that Bill Gates ever released work perfect? And then with the advent of the World Wide Web, I wasn't going to sit there and compose all the HTML code for every single page of the lecture notes, because even by then they were into hundreds of pages. And so once again, Bill Gates assured us that he had software that would convert a Word document to an HTML document error-free. No problem. And of course, when was the last time Bill Gates released something that was error-free? So there are lots of mistakes, typographic mistakes that were either made at the time that they were originally composed, or at the time they were converted from WordPerfect to Word, or from Word to HTML. And that's the way it is.